Think about the last 5 years of your life. You probably can't recall most of the days. They're gone, like pages that were never written. And yet, some moments remain crystal clear. A wedding, the birth of a child, that breathtaking trip, or even a painful heartbreak. Why is it that most of life fades into nothing, while some moments last forever? The truth is, forgetting is not a failure, it's the default. Your brain was built to forget. Every single day, your senses flood your mind with millions of details: the color of the sky, the sound of traffic, the taste of breakfast. If your brain stored everything, you'd collapse under the weight. So it filters. It keeps only what matters and erases the rest. That's why most days vanish. Your routine commute, the endless meetings, the hundreds of ordinary meals, they blur into a single category: ordinary. Your brain doesn't bother to save them. It's not laziness. It's survival. Memory is expensive, and your brain invests only in what it thinks will matter. Scientists call this the forgetting curve. Within hours, we lose most of what we experience, unless something triggers the brain to say, wait, this matters. And what triggers it? Emotion, novelty, surprise, meaning. That's why a random Tuesday disappears, but the Tuesday when you fell in love lasts forever. Think about childhood. You probably remember only fragments, but the first day of school, or the day you learned to ride a bike, stays as vivid. As adults, it's the same. We don't remember most work days, but we remember the day we quit, or the day we got promoted. It's not about the calendar, it's about the brain's judgment. This is important, save it. Here's the paradox. We live thousands of days, but we only truly remember a handful. When we look back, life feels shorter than it was. Not because time passed too quickly, but because memory erased most of it. That's why people often say, I can't believe 10 years have gone by already. It's not just that time sped up. It's that most of those days left no trace. So forgetting is the rule, but remembering, really remembering, is the exception. And the big question is, why do those exceptions stand out? What makes a moment carve itself into memory and stay there for life? That's what we'll explore next. Science gives us the answer. Your brain doesn't measure time with a clock. It measures it with change. Every time something new or surprising happens, your brain marks it. The more markers you collect, the longer time feels when you look back. The fewer markers, the shorter time feels. That's why a month of traveling through new countries feels endless, while a month of commuting the same road is gone in a blink. Experiments prove this. Psychologists placed people in novel environments, new cities, even virtual realities, and found that their brains recorded more detail. Later, when recalling the experience, those people felt time had lasted longer. In repetitive environments, the opposite happened. When days looked the same, memory stored less, and weeks blurred together like one long day. This is why time seems to speed up with age. Childhood and early adulthood are full of firsts. First school, first love, first job, first home. Your hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, fires constantly, saving those changes. By midlife, novelty fades. You've seen most of it before. Driving, working, cooking, commuting. Your brain already knows the script, so it barely bothers to record. Time shrinks because memory grows thin. But not all moments vanish. Some stay forever. Why? because they carried strong emotion, fear, joy, or heartbreak. These trigger your brain's full attention. They get burned into memory with sharp detail. Scientists call these flashbulb memories. You probably remember exactly where you were during a global event, or the moment you got shocking news. These memories feel like photographs in your mind, vivid and permanent. Even everyday awe can do this. The first time you saw the ocean, a concert that left you speechless, the birth of a child. These moments are etched in detail because they weren't routine. They were extraordinary. They shook the brain awake, forcing it to record everything. That's why decades later, you still remember the feeling in your chest, the smell in the air, the look on someone's face. So the rule is clear. Routine gets erased. Novelty and emotion get saved. And if our brains decide which moments stay forever, then the real question becomes, how can we influence that? How can we create more of those moments that never fade? That's what we'll explore next. The real challenge is not just understanding why we forget. It's learning how to create more moments we'll never forget. And the science is clear. We can. Our brains may be built to filter, but we can trick them into noticing, storing, and stretching time. The first tool is novelty. Your 20s felt long because everything was new. To stretch time later in life, you need to bring novelty back. That doesn't mean moving across the world or changing everything at once. It means sprinkling your days with small doses of newness. Take a different route to work. Try a new recipe. Learn a small skill. Even tiny changes wake the brain and force it to record more. Then there are the big leaps. Travel is one of the strongest ways to expand memory. Not just the same vacation every year, but trips that challenge your comfort zone. New cultures, new languages, new places. These overload the brain with details, turning weeks into what feels like months. That's why we often say a trip felt longer than the time we spent there. It created density in memory. Another tool is emotion. Ordinary days vanish because they are flat. But when you attach emotion to a moment, your brain saves it. So how do you add emotion? Be present in conversations. Celebrate milestones, even small ones. Allow yourself to be moved by music, by nature, by art. The stronger the emotional signal, the deeper the memory gets carved. Attention is just as important. In a distracted world, we barely notice our own lives. But the moments you actually focus on, without scrolling, without multitasking, are the ones that stay. Watch the sunset without a phone. Listen fully when someone speaks. Taste your meal slowly. Attention is memory in action. The more present you are, the more moments you get to keep. There are also practical tricks. Keep a journal. Writing down just one highlight a day forces your brain to mark it as important. Years later, those notes bring the days back to life. Take photos, but do it intentionally. Not endless snaps, just one or two meaningful captures. The act of choosing what to photograph makes you notice and remember. Even boredom can help. We rush to fill every gap with stimulation, but boredom forces the brain to slow down and pay attention again. Waiting in line without a phone, sitting quietly with your thoughts. These moments feel longer because your awareness sharpens. A little boredom now and then can make life richer in memory. At its core, the secret is simple. Time feels long when life feels meaningful. Meaning comes from growth, connection, and presence. Your 20s felt stretched because you were becoming. Your 40s feel short because routine takes over. But you can change that. You can keep becoming, keep learning, keep noticing. So remember this, you will forget most of your life. That's how the brain works. But you can choose what stays. You can make more moments unforgettable through novelty, emotion, and attention. And when you look back, your years won't feel empty. They'll feel alive. You can't hold on to everything, but you can hold on to what matters.